Greetings, kindred spirits, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And if you are new, I welcome you too. All right, so of course we have a new setup for today. And this might be the setup ongoing. I might switch it up here and there, just to take away a little of the boredom and add some spice. But thank you all again for joining me today in my world. Okay. I also would like to say, be sure to leave some comments, people. Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. I welcome it, And I will be leaving my info. If you need to contact me, if you don't want to put it down in the comment section below the video, you're welcome to send me a one-on-one message or comment or question, okay? Also, be sure to like this video to put me in rotation so that for those who would like to see this, who find this information valuable, could benefit from it as well. And I welcome you to share this video as well. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so today, our discussion is going to be geared around emotional and gut behavior. Basically, understanding how to pay attention to the signs our body give us. Sometimes we overlook these things. So I'm going to approach it differently. I'm going to put some of my research in here and give credit to where credit is due. Okay? I do my best to always give credit. I may mention people whose information that I've utilized in past videos. So I do my best to give credit where credit is due, where I get my research. And some of the research is just also based on life experiences. Okay, so I just want you to understand, when I do my research, if I use anybody else's opinions, and I do fact checks, I want to be sure to include the credits, okay? Because those people, they put in their hard sweat and tears into their research. So I want to make sure they get their credit as well. Also, sometimes my research is just based on my life experiences, and I always want you to remember that, I am not here to make you think like me. I just want you to think. This information that I put forth, I totally feel, and this is based on me, when it comes to control, because people unconsciously don't realize when you like a person sometimes, when you're under that fear-based or spell kind of thinking, or, a lot of us don't want to call it spell, but, sometimes, we get influenced heavily. Let me just put it that way. Because if I say spell, you're probably going to think, oh, is she into witchery? So some people have gotten heavily influenced and programmed over their life from the time they were born until their adulthood, okay? So a lot of times we don't realize that we try to impose our ways onto other people. What we like, we choose people based on if they have certain similarities, okay? So my teachings and my thinking is based on not doing so much to make you do the things I do, but to incite what I do in you, your own creativity. Because I'm all about controlling myself, okay? So a lot of these things is just some ideas that will incite within you your own ideas of creativity that can help heal you into thinking for yourself and respecting the space and the world of others, helping you realize that other people have a world within them of their own. And just like I am trying to control myself and be in control of my life, this information or my lifestyle would hopefully have you considering really thinking for yourself, being in control of your own life, taking authority for you. That way, little by little, step by step, inch by inch, day by day, you know, you will come to the realization that you're breaking traditional influences that no longer fits your life, and breaking programming that doesn't apply to you. Because programming, and remember, media programming is about programming you to think a certain way instead of allowing you the space to think for yourself. Okay? So now can we get on with it? Can we get on with this? Okay. You know, I had to explain that because some of y'all folks and your thinking, the way you're thinking, the way you feel, okay? Remember, I get it. You know, sometimes people say things meaning one thing, but your mind is processing it a different way. And your perception may be totally different. This is why I encourage you to ask me some questions to give you clarity about what I'm talking about. That's the only way we're going to learn, good people. Questions. I don't care if it sounds dumb to you. The only dumb questions are the ones that has not been asked. Did I say that word right? A-S-K-E-D. Ask it. Ask it. So ask it the darn question. Okay, ask questions. All right, people, let's move on. Let's jump more into it. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I love you unconditionally. I sure do. All right, let's get on with the subject at hand. Overstanding how to pay attention to the signs our body gives us. Or pay attention to the signs your body gives. I'm paying attention to the signs my body gives, you know? And just realize healing doesn't take place overnight. It's a process, baby. Okay, let's get on with this. Enough talking. So, I just put in some little picture pics. Paying attention to the warning signs when we're not coping well. This picture over here is depicting, for a child. You see how uncomfortable she looks. See, you can see it. That looks visual, like, and if it was me, if I was that child, I'm like, he got his hand all on my shoulder, all up in my face. He has invaded my space. That's a sign, people. And if, never send your child anywhere, without questioning, if you sign contracts for your child to go on field trips, question. Don't question the child, because the child may not have a full overstanding or understanding of where they're headed to on this field trip. So you might need to ask the adult, what does this trip entail? Because I don't want my child's space invaded. I don't want my child to feel uncomfortable or be mistaught, or some people say miseducated. I don't want them to get the wrong perception. I want their processing to be a free flow, okay? I want them to feel like they're coping well in their situation, okay? Another thing that I see over here is, I'm not sure if this is the child's parent, but, they look like they got the same kind of hair texture and skin complexion, but, you can't go by that because, you could be a light-skinned mom and give birth to a dark-skinned child, but we're just going to pretend right now that the child is having some kind of problem, and this is the parent. We're going to pretend this is the parent or guardian helping the child to express what's going on within them. What is their guts filling them? And let's teach our children to express. Allow your children the freedom of speech to speak, to express what's going on inside of them, because you don't know what they experience or are experiencing. And when I say that, it may not just be a physical experience that may have took place in the next room. You don't know where you moved into, a type of home or place you're living in. It could be a spiritual experience. You know what I'm saying? Where they could see something. It could be a mental experience, something that just came out, that they just thought about, something that happened a day ago, a week ago. Allow them, engage in conversation. This way, you start them at a young age, they will feel like you or someone they can always come and talk to you. Because I'm going to tell you, now I say this now, because this is things that I've learned, because even though I allowed my children the freedom to express themselves, not all of my children, I have 5, not all of them are willing to open up and talk to me, because I was also one of those parents who was very into disciplining. And I used the traditional disciplining on my children that was carried out on me growing up. So you can very well understand or overstand why that will cause a child to kind of like close up. So I had to learn the hard way, but it's okay. In my life, sometimes you have to learn things the hard way, because sometimes, sometimes we just have to go through that for us to become more aware of things not to do anymore. That's why they have these things called shadow work, because we've been programmed and influenced and taught things that really didn't agree with us, but we just felt like we needed to accept it. And that's not true. That, it's okay to accept it or feel obligated to be a certain way and do certain things, okay? So that's basically what this is showing, my traditional discipline is being yelled at and made to feel bad or discouraged, not supported, and that wasn't an everyday thing, but it was a sometimes thing, I'm saying, and a way of, disciplining. So, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say these are some of the things that I've been through. And it's okay. It's okay. Because certain things in our lives, in our ancestry chart that was carried down, that wasn't healthy or a little dysfunctional, now, being that we are our ancestors through the bloodline, stuff get carried down through the DNA, and now we have to do shadow work. We have to be the saviors of our bloodline to dissemble. Did I say that right? Dissemble, ensemble, to tear that stuff up. We have to be the ones to kind of break that down and sort through it and sweep out all that we don't need and keep that which is healthy. All right? And sometimes we have to be that way with people outside of ourselves. We have to know to space ourselves and be okay with saying no when we're uncomfortable with certain things. We have to be able to pay attention to red flags or signs, symbols, and synchronized themes that we no longer want to be a part of, and have to know when to separate out. So you look at that body language, how she kind of like, hunty, I'm seeing some things, I'm hearing some things, and I'm going to express some things. Boo-boo. It's not about to go down that way. Not right here, not today. But ain't no telling what they're talking about. But I'm just giving my input on the body language here. All we know is, she's spacing her body language, and sometimes, with different cultural people, their body language could she could be telling a story like, girl, I had to tell him, and it looked like, it's a negative body language, but it's probably a part of her story. And a lot of times we like to use our body and our hands, and I'm talking about, to tell a story. So anywho, that's a perception. All right, so let's get on this. Let's keep it moving. Okay, let's keep it flowing. Okay. All right. So what is intuition? So I had to delve deep. I went and broke it down and looked up the definition and brought in a little example to kind of like give some more feedback. All right. Are we okay with that? All right. What is intuition, people? Intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge without recourse to conscious reasoning. And why I had to put this definition in here, because, sometimes, I know when I first started on my spiritual journey or doing my shadow work and delving more into me, okay, learning to love me some more, taking responsibility of my life and the choices that I'm making, I had to look things up and really get a full overstanding, understanding of where I'm headed when I use a certain word. So again, intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge without recourse to conscious reasoning. And that conscious reasoning is based on things outside of ourselves, what we're being told, influenced, and programmed. Sometimes you got to listen within, okay? That's gut, okay? Or how we're feeling, okay? Sometimes how we feel, if we don't feel good about a thing, listen to that. Part of that feeling vibrates to us intuitively to make decisions on whether to move forward or change courses. All right, and here are some examples. or an example that is used, may I add, different fields use the word intuition in very different ways, including but not limited to direct access to unconscious knowledge, unconscious cognition, and let me break down the word cognition. It's a mental process of knowing based on awareness or perception. Okay? Inner sensing. Haven't you noticed, picked up on, I always say, instead of me saying understand, because, we ain't trying to be up under the table and can't see what's above the table. You know what I'm saying? Or in the materials used inside the table. We want to be as clear, see-through as possible. So I use the word inner standing, okay? Or overstanding. So you can be on top and examine it like a scientist. Examine that, break that down. Break that down. Let me do a little research on that. All right. So inner sensing, what you sense from within. Okay. Inner sight to unconscious pattern recognition. Inner sight is not talking about your eyeballs and seeing behind the eyeballs, okay, to unconscious pattern recognition. So it's a inner knowing, or more like a being able to see something. Sometimes we think we're using our eyes, but we're using that inner eye of intellect to decipher things that we pick up on. In our inner sight, when we walk away from a situation, our inner sight said, did you see that, Anita? Did you see that? Haven't you noticed since you come around that person? You know what I'm saying? Or even yourself. Anita, don't you see this situation that's going on around you, Anita? You don't need to be in this. There's a pattern here. And this is not a good pattern. So sometimes it's that reflection that we do with the inner sight. And we recognize certain patterns unconsciously. We have to bring it from our unconscious mind. And then later, sometimes we can't make decisions right away. We have to be like, we have to tell enough, I got to sleep on it. Let me sleep on it. Okay. And then we just kind of not even realize what we just said. That night when we go to sleep, we dream on it. Or whatever happens during the sleep state, when we wake up, we have a clear mind. We're able to go back to that situation the day before, the week before, however long we needed to sleep on it, and be able to make our decision. And the ability, let me continue on, and the ability to understand. They said understand something instinctively. Me, I like to say overstand. Okay, like I said, you want to be able to look over at it in the microscope and examine. You don't want to be under the microscope and can't see, can't get the essence of what you're examining. Okay. So it says, so let's re-say that. The ability to understand something instinctively. They say your instincts, based on your instincts, and we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that because there's a different definition from intuition, but it's like that. I'll say instinct is like that sensing danger, something not good for you. Okay, so the ability to hold on, what is that I'm sensing? Just something that tells you. And they refer to it as your gut. But like I said, we're going to get into, let me not point my finger. But anyway, we're going to get into that. All right. So without any need for conscious reasoning, okay? And when we talk about conscious reasoning, we're talking about utilizing things outside of ourselves to explain what's intuitively, or what our intuition is begging us to pay attention to. Okay? So the different signs, symbols, and synchronicities that we want to get into, that those mental signs and symbols and synchronicities that we get, we might be aware. And the reason why I'm saying be aware of certain things that goes on, how is based on how we process it. So yeah, I jumped to the mental, but let me go to another sign, symbol of synchronicity. For those who are empaths or very sensitive or have certain gifts that we're born with or that we develop over a period of time, they're called spiritual gifts, talents, and skills. Things that other people can't see that we might be sensitive to, things that other people may not see, hear, smell, or taste. And I just put that, put those certain senses in there. So there's what we call the higher senses, or the senses that go undetected by others. All right. So, and those are what we call the higher senses. And sometimes those senses tell us to pay to pay attention to those things, because they are like our guides from another dimension, or what some may call the unseen. And sometimes they'll step in when we most need it. And where the mental signs, symbols, and synchronicities come in at is where when we try to process or perceive what has just happened, or what is this that just happened from the other dimension or the unseen world. We try to process these things and try to gather an understanding of how to define that. Sometimes everything just don't, we don't need to overthink it. Just be like, okay, and I'll advise. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but sometimes you might just want to write that down, the day it happened, so that when you get clarity on it, you'll be able to come back to it and probably write it down. What clarity came to you about what happened that day due to something spiritual happening that will give you a sign, symbol, and synchronicity. And the only reason why I'm mentioning this is so that, like I said, we get signs to be able to cope with things, or understand and overstand what's going on as guidance, so that we don't have to suffer from tragedies, traumas, triggers. Okay, so we don't have to deal with too much suffering behind things that happen in this world, because you later find out what you've been brought up thinking really does not apply to you. It's not real for you. Doesn't mean that it's not real, it's just not real for you. Some people's pretending might be their reality, but not necessarily is it real. Okay? You hear me? Some people's pretending may be their reality, but not necessarily is it real. You get me? Say that one more time, or keep saying it until you get it. Okay? So now, of course, there's emotional stimuli that help us perceive what's going on with us. And of course, you have the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of love, depression, contempt, pride, shame, obligation, or what have you. you get these stimuli, and even from the spiritual world, you get stimulated from different areas, whether it's spiritual, mental, or emotional. But the body feels things, the nerves and all of that, And let me help you understand and understand us being spiritual beings. We're spiritual beings first, boo-boo. We came from somewhere before we took cover in these avatars or these bodies. And for those people, I just say bodies because, some people don't recognize certain people as human. So I'm just going to say it like that, But it's really not about what people think, because I'm not really here to people please. I'm here to say it like it is. And don't get offended. And I'm saying that, and don't get up. Let me just say this. As a melanin female, don't get offended by, if you have a different culture and you're watching this, don't get offended by what I'm going to say on this platform, okay? I'm keeping it real. I'm discussing and going to mention things that is going on in and around this world because it has to be talked about. Because for so long, no one cared about what the melanin female felt and dealt with. And you might say differently, but if you was the sore thumb sticking out and you join a group of melanin women or melanin women and men discussion group, and we just spoke freely, I'm pretty sure vice versa. If I was a sore thumb coming into your cultural group to discuss some problems and to resolve some problems, it's basically just allowing yourself to open up yourself to learn, a space of learning to be able to expand. And in order to find resolutions, you got to speak honestly, openly, and be willing to express it all so we can put it all in a pot, grind it down, and get rid of the residue that's no longer needed so we all can heal. It's about healing today. Or starting the healing today, because we know healing is a process. It can be a lifelong journey. And I know you're thinking, dang, that's a long time. But at least you're putting forth the effort. At least you start to see some results when you're honest with yourself and stop pretending that your pretend life is the reality. And let go of what you've been programmed, what's trending on the internet or through any kind of media outlets, that's real for you. When have you made your own decision? But anyway, we're not here to talk about it. But yeah, when have you made your own decision? Okay, so of course I got into the physical aspects of signs, symbols, and synchronicities that we get when things are going good or bad in our life. So that way we can decipher and work through the residue and clean it all out so we can not only lean towards just the good and lean towards just the bad, we can become accepting, in balance, in harmony, at peace with ourselves. Knowing that, okay, we have some dark sides of us that need to come out when it's time to kick rocks. You know what I'm talking about? It's okay. Sometimes that part of me need to come out to protect myself. Be okay with that. Be okay with my shadow self. Because sometimes, that's where the shadow lay low. The shadow lay low until it's needed. But otherwise, I'm going to walk gracefully and enjoy my life. You know what I'm talking about? So as I stated, there are some physical signs, symbols, and synchronicities that we get that our body would let us know. You get sick, not even realizing that your sickness may be coming from bad habits, bad thought patterns, or how you think. Because the mind is the crown. And the crown is like the president, the CEO, the governor. And where it says go, because the processing starts here. And then once the processing starts here, okay, this is the gun. It's just going to point. But the emotions is the bullet. So whatever is here, whatever type of gun you got here, your emotion is going to process that. Your mind is processing it, so you're feeling. Sometimes you may catch a feeling first before your mind can even process. Before the gun even realize it still got some bullets in the chamber to be shot. Sometimes the gun just go off. So real gonna recognize real, fake gonna recognize fake. I guess, real will recognize fake if you've been fake before and now you're real. So you give people the benefit of the doubt that overstand with all of this, okay, all of this that I'm speaking on, it's a learning process. So also with all the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that affect us physically, I'm not trying to get off the physical because I just want you to know that your spiritual, mental, emotional health, if that's all healthy, guess what? Physical is going to be healthy, especially if you've done your research to make sure the physical temple is good. So everything, it all works hand in hand. If all is functioning well and in peace, you're going to be at peace, boo-boo. Just know that if the physical is off based on your thought patterns or your emotional patterns, you know what I'm saying? It's going to affect you spiritually and physically. You're going to get some physical ailments. And be gentle and respectful to the body. Don't do all this craziness to the body just because you can do it or because you see somebody else doing it. That's why the mind is there for you to process, to make sense of what you're seeing or what you're doing, how you're feeling. Okay. Oh, we on point about things. Now, it was something I was just saying. Yeah, anyway, I'll probably get back to it. I don't delve so deep into this, this one right here, this slide. But I just want us to be on point about things. I just want y'all to realize the real lies you've been faking to live. I just want you to truly understand that, and I've had this to happen. I'll look at somebody and I'll say something about them that I don't agree with. And who knows, 2 days later, a week later, a month later, some months later, a year later, when I judge, that judgment that I made upon that person came back upon me. So just because you're not going through it at that moment, sometimes the universe, or some people, the spirit, will help you to learn that it's okay for them to be who and what they are until they learn it's not good for them. But that's not for us to point the finger and put another person down for it. For we are here in this world. The spirit of the Most High that's within us is allowing this avatar to utilize this avatar to experience this world and its lessons. So if we're all here learning lessons, don't count yourself out, boo-boo, because you're learning your lessons too. So why are we judging one another when we all here doing the same thing? We're all here learning lessons to grow and evolve. And once that spirit has evolved enough, its time will come for when it's time to go. Some have short lessons. Some people get kept back and have to come back. Some people get suspended and have to come back too soon and have to come back and finish off the lesson. You know, it's different strokes for different folks and different lessons and different reasons when we have to learn them. And in this video today, we are learning to overstand how to pay attention and get the guidance from within, how to move about on the outside and allow the outside to also be a lesson for us and a guidance for us to pay attention to be in love and care and respect of ourselves so that we can generate that and reciprocate that back. Because what you want for you, what you wouldn't do for you, why do it to somebody else? Hi, I'm AnitaYarbrough. Can we talk? I see you're having challenges finding your life purpose. OMGs. These challenges are signs, symptoms, and synchronicities that are about releasing self-limiting beliefs as you spiritually awaken and heal. I can relate too, because I went through it. So, what I did, I took ownership to self-heal my life. It wasn't serious enough for a doctor. It wasn't mental enough for psychiatric help. It was more real than hallucinations. I almost thought my life was over. After many years, I didn't even realize I had been suffering with limiting beliefs that caused me to self-sabotage opportunities as I journeyed close to my life purpose and mission. I had no one to turn to for guidance at the time I started experiencing spiritual awakenings, and as I needed to realize how to heal outmoded traditions. These experiences came with spiritual depression, excessive dreaming, feelings of insomnia, being out of touch with my reality, etc. I lost job security, friends, and some of my family turned away from me. I then started doing my own research. That's right, I was seeking hard to understand why all of this was happening, and intuitively, I knew I needed healing. So, after all the hard work and research, I came across some methods I tested on myself to gain control and ownership of my life. Well, with a few simple steps, I blew my own mind. You hear me? It took almost 3 months before I started to see some results. I also used my gifts of dream analysis, invested some meditation time, and some divination tools, which acted as a guide spiritually to decode patterns and messages from my subconscious thoughts to gain some clarity. I also studied and learned to use the science of psychology, NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Program, where these simple questioning principles help me understand how limitless I am. And with this process, I began transforming and seeing results of my authentic self. Since we all are a reflection of one another, I realized that what's true for me may also be true for you. I mean, if I can self-heal, so can you. The previous methods used is a part of my limitless methodology, which I am most grateful to guide you through. The research is already done for you that I've compressed into a system of techniques and models which you will use as guidance to transform your life. Also, keep in mind, when it comes to fully healing, it can be a lifelong journey, as I am still on that path. But I am willing to utilize my time with your patients to help you get the same, if not better, results with this program using services I offer as a holistic healing life coach and counselor. All right, now, before we jump into it, you must understand a consultation will determine if we are a good match before moving forward with your transformation process. If you're ready to align your visions and take ownership for your healing process, then I am ready to be your coach and or counselor. You may contact me at any of my social media platforms, which you will see to the left at LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or just send me an email. Again, I am AnitaYarbrough, your holistic healing life coach and counselor. I welcome you with open arms and hopes that you embrace a new way of healing, starting in a new era. I hope the best for you and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. So now let's get on to instinct. It says, what is instinct? Instinct is the inherent, and if you want to know what enter is, the nature or habit belonging to an individual, your own habits, your own nature. Okay? Instinct is the habit or nature that acts as a bending or tilting for those, I'm just saying inclination, the inclination or the inclining of a living organism towards a particular complex behavior containing both innate and learned elements, you know? So let me just kind of break that down. Instinct is based on what your inner warning signals is telling you. Some of them happen just naturally. You respond naturally to somebody, like when a fly gets ready to fly into your eye and you act quickly, instinctively. Or something that you learn from outside yourself, that sometimes you get ready to cross the street and you hear something and you realize, let me step back on the sidewalk because here comes a car. Let me pay attention and look both ways and keep looking both ways so I can get safely to the other side. The example that is given here is the simplest example of an instinctive behavior is a fixed action pattern in which a very short to medium length sequence of actions without variation are carried out in response to a corresponding clearly defined stimulus. Something stimulates you to act quickly. Sometimes, our stimuli may not, get carried out when we most need it. Sometimes we just be walking so proud, all up our head all up in the sky, and then having on, especially women walking in their high heels all sexy like, and next thing you know, she step on a crack because she ain't paying attention. And I'm not going to say that word, almost break your back, because it don't always happen that way, but you end up spraining your ankles or falling or tripping and stuff because them type of instinct, because our head is too high up in our butts. But so that's why, right here, I got the little picture. Follow your instincts, pay attention to what's going on. Get your head too far out of the cloud so you can, instead of trying to show off the body and the outfit or something, you do want to do that, and men do it too. And I put this little Goku right here, this little cartoon character. It says Goku mastered the ultra instinct, to those who can relate to cartoons, because they do put messages in movies and cartoons for you to learn from. What it says, learned elements, and one of the elements can be a cartoon or movie. All right, some of that stuff, the instinct can be in the gut, and the intuition can be in the gut. Because they do say that the belly is connected to the brain. That's why you have to pay attention to what you put into it. You put junk in there, you're going to look like junk, and junk is going to come out in the way you think and the way you talk. People will know. Okay? But if you like talking junk, you like acting like junk, then go ahead, do what you want to do. Sometimes you gotta do the most on the lowest spectrum for you to realize that's not something I need and want in my life. I want to upgrade, and that's okay. If you want to stay at a certain level and continue to do things the way you've been doing, life will teach you it's time to change, because change is inevitable. All right, boo-boo. All right. Okay, so now, and we're gonna get into this, and I'm just gonna read what's right here, and then we're gonna get into it. Okay, so what are red flags? A warning, signal, or sign. A high, and here they put some examples in here. So I'm going to break it down. And this one is by Melinda Beck. I guess they did a little poll when it came to these red flags for people to give their input on some red flags that they've experienced or what they think some red flags are. So I'm going to make sure I give credit where credit is due. But for all this information that I have had in my slides with the definition, let me give credit to Merriam-Webster. Anybody, y'all know Merriam? If you don't know Merriam personally, but if you know of her works, she has a Webster dictionary, and I think an encyclopedia that defines some of these words. Okay, so let's get into it. So Melinda Beck says a high body mass index is a red flag in general to clinicians, but sudden, unexplained weight loss can be even more worrisome. Okay, so her red flag is like signs, symbols, and her synchronicities came in the form of her trying to lose weight or maintain a certain weight goal. And some of the signs that she was getting was her body mass started to increase, which was giving her red flags. She's putting the wrong things inside of there. Okay, so red flags can come in that form when you trying to work through some things physically. Okay, I hope I ain't trying to sound like I ain't trying to sound, I'm just trying to be me. Okay, so remember, don't judge me. All right. The other meaning is something that indicates or draws attention to a problem, danger, or irregularity. And it goes on, an example is given. It says by ink. Now, I don't know, incorporated, somebody who just wanted to go unknown, I guess, says interested large investors often send in their own CPAs, okay, to conduct, and I think the CPAs may be referring to their accountants, all right, to conduct complete audits to verify statements or spot red flags, such as excessively old inventory or uncollectible accounts receivable. So, that's why they have certain people in certain professions who are willing to do the work for you and can sit with you and explain certain things and point out things that go unseen in what they call in words and numbers. An example of a red flag. Another one is whether you're dating a potential gold digger or are surrounded by friends who are constantly asking for handouts. You'll want to protect your money from those kinds of drains. Watch out for red flags, such as dishonesty, secrecy around money matters, and requests to co-sign a loan. This one, her input given by Kimberly Palmer. Okay. Now, I guess that speaks for itself. I don't really have to break that down. Okay. So I'm going to give out some more red flags in just a moment. And here, I don't know if this is a Mr., but it says L. John Worthium says, though Kearse did not take legal possession of the car until January 4th, 1999, after his eligibility had expired, the purchase raised red flags, aka aroused suspicions of wrongdoing. Booyah, booyah. Now you're given different scenarios, case scenarios in life to pay attention to these red flags. Okay? And these mostly consider outside of yourself, being able just to see it, learn things that you have to learn to pay attention to have that inner sight, to go think, your instincts, your intuition is, the hairs on your intuition is standing up to let you know, think, that was a red flag, boo-boo, what they doing to you. And I'm just saying it like that because I'm just keeping it real and how I'm just kind of like delivering the messages so you can relate. My way of being and how I deliver a message is just to be very relatable and help you understand and overstand what this topic today is about. So the overall topic is about really paying attention to red flags, the warnings. Over here, it says, just because you couldn't see someone's red flag doesn't mean you deserve to be treated badly. That's the clue. And I really put that because I had a talk with my daughter, my youngest daughter, about things, and I can attest to this. Because when I was younger, and this is why I say people don't judge, because there are people who are even younger who has gotten older and still haven't learned because they haven't surrounded themselves with people to help them realize certain things about themselves. So a lot of this stuff is learned behavior. This is why I say don't judge, because you grow up in a certain environment, or you grow up being influenced, programmed, and taught certain things, and you think it's the norm to be. And even if it is the norm to be in that household, you come to find out later in life that certain people you're trying to attract and you wonder why you can't attract those type of people, is because you're attracting that which has been programmed in you because of the way you think. Remember, we as spiritual beings here, we have somewhat of like a radio wave, electrical way of attracting to us that which we don't want, or that which we do feel we deserve and want and need in our life. So even as a child, and you being programmed, that stuff is being set up and built into your unconscious. The way people talk to you, the way people treat you, and you grow up thinking it's okay, and you stay within that environment. Just know, pay attention, because like I said, when I was younger, people used to say things to me, and because I was so accustomed to people talking down on me, when I started to learn or realize I want better in my life and start to work on shadow parts of myself, I start to then pay attention to those same people who were in my life and how they were talking to me. And I'm like, I don't deserve to be talked to like that. So I had to even tell my daughter, because I know how I used to communicate and talk to my children based on how I was raised and taught to, spoken to, and how I responded. I did the same to my children. But now that I realize and I see them as adults, I try to remind my youngest daughter, I don't care if it's family, friends, or foe. You have to value yourself and know, I don't need to be talked to that way. I don't need to be treated that way. I deserve better. But it all depends on how you value yourself. When you come to love yourself, you want only the utmost best. A lot of people are like, I love myself, but yet you with someone that treats you like trash. How you loving yourself and you smelling and looking like trash? You have to pay attention to the red flags even within yourself. Do you really love yourself? And it's not for me to judge what that type of love for you is supposed to be for you. But I know that if you are in my life and I see this is how you think it's how it have to be, and you ask me for my input, I'm gonna tell you. But if I notice it's affecting me because you want to call on me and tell me how somebody's treating you, because you haven't you haven't took it upon yourself to take a little bit of somebody else's advice that might work, take up that opportunity, try it a little bit and see if it works for you. But a lot of times we don't try because we feel at that moment, we're in our feelings. And a lot of our feeling is coming from the lower chakra between our legs, instead of from processing it at our crown chakra. But it's all a lesson to be learned, because sometimes we don't learn the lesson until we come in contact with somebody or something or someplace different. And when we want different. So basically change comes about when we know we're ready. Because sometimes what makes us ready is when something traumatic has happened to us. And it's sorry to say that sometimes that's our door knocker to make us wake up. You in the bed, sleep, don't even know that the world is on fire. And someone decide to notice, hey, no one is coming out that door. Let's knock on that door because the world, the building is on fire. Come out, come out, come out. It's on fire. So instinctively, we know to react to certain things when we're in the process or in the situation at that moment where something is happening that we have to move and react instinctively, but learned behaviors we don't know. Sometimes a person might say something just as calm and disrespectful, and we don't even know how to feel about that. We think it's okay because they said it to us nicely, when it could have been disrespectful. Some people only react to when it's said real nasty and loud and with the body language, with the head and stuff like that. So you have to even be attentive to your ears and pay attention. Hold on. Did I just get disrespected? In the most kindest voice there is. Because there's different tactics that people use. Okay. So, yes, it's that time of day. We've come to the end of this road. Or we're at the end of the day. All I'm trying to say is, I don't want you to think like me. Just give yourself the free space and opportunity to think for yourself and make decisions to change me, to change you, to change them. I'm not telling y'all to change, but them to change them. So in the meantime, between time, I do thank you for the love and support, and I hope that you share this information if you find it valuable. Just because I'm not a famous person, y'all gotta get out of that. Oh, she ain't famous. He ain't famous. My words are famous. I don't care to be famous. Just, you know, I'm not trying to get the billions of followers. I'm just looking for those who are ready. Don't call on me. Don't come bothering me if you ain't ready. If you ain't ready to fight that fight, I don't need nobody to take flight. I'm looking for those who's ready to fight. To fight the enemies that lie within. To pay attention to what's in and around you. To notice what's going on within your environment and within your avatar, what you're feeling and what you're seeing, what you're knowing. You know what I'm talking about? Let's get on it, doggone it. Man. All right, people. You know, I'm just feeling good today. I think it's that mocha I had. You know, I don't, you know, people be like, what is mocha? I'm like, golly, I'm not a coffee drinker. But I do realize that coffee acts as I was about to say a fertilizer, but it acts as a fiber. And certain days, if I put something into my body that needs to come out, I put coffee, I mix coffee with hot chocolate and special spices to spice it up to taste good. Because like I said, I can't drink coffee by itself, but I can't. But anyway, I ain't here to talk about that. So anyway, I'm talking about all my innards. All right, I just got to go. I got most stuff to do than talk to you. But I enjoy talking to you when I know it's going to stimulate you to be the best you possible. All right, people, enjoy the rest of your day, week, and be prosperous and loving and respectful and have some integrity. Okay, like I said, I'm thinking about it. Hi, my name is AnitaYarbrough, and I am your holistic healing life coach and counselor. I bring to you today my signature programs based on healing transformations that align purpose. My first signature program, self authentication based healing. This paradigm shifting and transformative based program is designed to share life experiences due to the changing times we're in to assert your self authenticating willpower. In this program, you will learn the importance of healing to help lead the way towards understanding a new age mindset that promotes creative, holistic living for unlocking your purpose. Transform and align with your purpose in any area you choose. Within these changing times, by trying a new approach to tasks and or activities to gain courage and confidence. Feel free to accept the changes in the world and experience the new, real you without judgment from yourself and others. Learn to accept uncontrollable circumstances. Let go of the past and activate a new you. Overcome blockages on your way towards your newfound freedom after attending this life changing presentation. After this program, you will be able to learn the difference between using logic and intuition, understand how your belief systems influence your authenticity. Learn the importance of balancing your light and dark psyche. Use mental and emotional coping techniques to transcend traumas and pain to start the healing process. Gaining self-acceptance to heal through self-talk and expression. My second signature program is lifestyle-based healing. This life building and knowledge based program is designed to help you succeed in the next phase of transformational growth during these changing times to enhance your development. In this session, you will learn how to tap into your natural survival resources and following the intuitive influences that open your eyes to new pathways of living, achieve greater results, and supercharge your mission by creating a new lifestyle. You will come to understand how to discipline your body, your mind, and spirit to prepare the unexpected and expected changes in your life, inside and out. Inspire others to do the same. Become efficient and improve functionality after this enlightening presentation. After this program, you will be able to learn what your limits are towards change, learn how to replace unwanted habits with better practices, identify your stress triggers and traumas to make changes and self-heal. Learn about inner and outside influences that affect your lifestyle. Understand how good health practices establishes great wealth to enhance a certain lifestyle. Learn the importance of your survival and creating your new life and what it takes to sustain a new lifestyle. Expose your toxicities before incorporating new lifestyle changes. Now, this third signature program is my communication-based healing. This mind-enriching session will teach you how to express and communicate your thoughts and feelings. Demonstrate many ways to communicate your subconscious mind to gain control of your life. The strategies in this portion of the program will fine-tune your communication skills within these changing times by using your childlike imagination to promote healing and find your confidence to better express yourself. Learn how to analyze the communication style of others, which better helps with understanding how to communicate. So after this presentation, you will be able to achieve a life of mastery that is limitless. So after this program, you will be able to learn to listen to your true voice, to break your own hypnotic spell, learn importance of self-talk, creatively express your imagination, to welcome in the healing process, learn and understand different communication styles, find out how to communicate commands to your subconscious mind to create change. Now, this last signature program is community-based healing. This approach into the community dynamics during these times of change will alter your reality to identify patterns in situations and know when to seek solutions. Learn the positives and negatives of comparisons and judgments that are used within your environment or community. Learn tactics to break away from the trends within your environment and community that are presently not realized as mind control tools. Learn manifestations for your ideal environment or community, which can influence and become impressionable to others. Before this presentation ends, it will empower your every move. So after this program, you will be able to understand how to manifest your needs and wants, recognizing patterns that will create solutions for a better change, learn how to recognize individuals of bad or good influence in your space, understand how making peace with yourself can become a masterpiece for an ideal community, create better habits and practices that will help you attain the peace you so desire, and design and create a space that cannot be compared to others. I would like to thank you for taking time out in your busy day and joining me or sitting with me in learning more about my signature programs. As I always tell others, I am not here to make you think like me. I just want you to think. Again, thank you and have a great rest of your day.